us pray. God, we beseech thee, Almighty God, members of this honorable house, that they may wisely deliberate for the good of this country and for the glory of thy holy name. Please join me in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Pray, be seated. This Parliament now convenes.
Item number 3, oath of allegiance or affirmation of a new member. Item number 4, confirmation of minutes.
The Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the minutes of a proceeding of a sitting of the House of Representatives held at Parliament Chamber, Mount Weldale, St. George's, on Tuesday, the 13th of May, 2025, at 9 a.m., be taken as read.
Honorable members, the question is that the minutes of the proceedings of a sitting of the House of Representatives held at the Parliament Chamber, Mount Weldale, St. George's, on Tuesday, 13th May, 2025, at 9 a.m., be taken as read. Those of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the minutes of the proceedings of a sitting of the House of Representatives held at Parliament Chamber, Mount Weldale, St. George's, on Tuesday, the 13th of May, 2025, at 9 a.m., be confirmed.
Honorable members, the question is that the minutes of the proceedings of a sitting of the House of Representatives held at Parliament Chamber, Mount Weldale, St. George's, on Tuesday, 13th May 2025 at 9 a.m. be confirmed. Those of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it.
Item number 5, messages from the Governor General. Item number 6, announcements by Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, I have information in my possessions to show that a number of MPs, members of this House, are absent because they are on official state business. They include the Honourable Dennis Cornwall, Honourable Ron Redhead, Honourable Andy Williams. They also include Honourable Leader of His Majesty Opposition, Emmeline Pierre, Honourable Kate Lewis, and Honourable Clarice Modest-Corwin, all of whom are overseas on official state business. I also wish to announce in this House that June 30th of this year is World Parliament Day, and the theme for this year's celebration is Parliamentary Democracy, Building Bridges for Peace and Understanding. Those are my announcements.
Item number 7, presentation of petitions. Item number 8, presentation of papers and reports from select committees. Item number 9, unopposed private business. Item number 10, questions. Item number 11, urgent questions under the provisions of Standing Order number 20, subsection 1, notice of questions. Item number 12, statements by ministers.
The Honorable MP for St. Andrew, Northwest.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to everyone. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to present an update of the work of the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, a ministry dedicated to advancing the well-being of our people, reducing the stigma surrounding to mental illness, and strengthening the system of care across our nation. Mr. Speaker, as a newly created ministry, we have worked steadfastly to put the right structures in place to carry out our mandate. Cabinet has approved the relocation of the ministry's administrative office from the ministerial complex to Archibald Avenue, St. George's. The transition became effective on the 1st May, and I'm pleased to report that the ministry is now fully operational and is in its new space. The official commissioning will be by the end of this month. Key programmatic intervention, disaster mental health training. The ministry hosted a national training in collaboration with Dr. Youssef and the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. 80 participants, including mental health professionals, social workers, first responders, police officers, and NGOs, were trained in psychological first aid, crisis intervention, and trauma-informed care to improve our disaster response capabilities. A graduation ceremony is scheduled for the end of this month. A mental health caravan is scheduled for next week, Friday, the 27th of June, 2025, under the theme, Together We Heal, Break the Silence on Mental Health. The caravan will travel from the National Stadium through Grenville and the Western Corridor, including St. George's. The initiative will feature praise and worship, motivational talks, and distribution of educational material, creating space for open conversations on mental health in both faith-based and public settings. Policy and legislative agenda. Mr. Speaker, the ministry continues to review and finalize the national mental health policy with technical support from PAHO. A steering committee will be appointed to lead the implementation. We have also begun consultation to amend the Mental Health Act to ensure improved care, treatment, and legal protection for persons living with mental illness. The work is being supported by regional experts, including Dr. Sharma and SGU representatives. Capital and infrastructure development. Carlton House Rehabilitation Project. Mr. Speaker, it is known that the land has already been secured and fencing done. We are now advancing to the bidding and selection of a contractor in collaboration with the Ministry of Infrastructure. Renovation of Mongay Mental Hospital, Phase 1, is expected to start in the first week in July. We are working in collaboration with the Ministry of Infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, mental health is no longer a backroom conversation. It is central to the health, productivity, and peace of our nation. The ministry is determined to ensure that no one walks alone and that every Grenadian has access to the support and dignity they deserve. Mr. Speaker, I move to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to formally announce in this House that Grenada will host Carifta Games in 2026. This is a monumental achievement that underscores our government's commitment to youth and sports development. The Carifta Games, as we know, are the premier track and field competition for junior athletes in the Caribbean, and Grenada is honored to once again take up the mantle of hosting this important event. We anticipate that this event will not only showcase our young athletic talent, but also significantly boost tourist and national pride. Mr. Speaker, on another historic note, I am proud to report that the handing over ceremony of the newly rehabilitated National Cricket Stadium will take place next Monday at 10 a.m. The event signals a pivotal moment as we mark the official return of international cricket to our shores. Following the handover, Grenada will host a major international cricket match between West Indies and Australia, scheduled for July 3rd to the 7th, 2025. This 5-day match forms part of a renewed effort to position Grenada as a key destination for international sporting events and represent the first of several major fixtures on our calendar. Mr. Speaker, as it relates to the rehabilitation of the stadium, none of this would be possible without the unwavering support and strong partnership with the People's Republic of China. I take the opportunity to express sincere gratitude to the government and people of the People's Republic of China, whose funding and technical expertise make this rehabilitation project a reality. Their generosity continue to leave a lasting impact on the development of our national infrastructure. I must also commend the government and people of Grenada, whose vision, patience, and steadfast belief in the power of sports have brought us to this point. The upgraded stadium will serve not only as a venue for cricket, but as a multi-purpose facility that benefits youth development, sport tourism, and national unity. On June 28, 2025, which is next week Friday, this Friday, Mr. Speaker, we are officially launching the National Holiday Program at Victoria Park in St. Andrew. This timely initiative during the school holiday will bring together communities across the parish and set the tone for what envisioned to be a recurring national movement that promotes healthy lifestyles, community spirit, and sporting excellence. Mr. Speaker, the day's activity will commence with a road race starting from 2 p.m., beginning from Moya Bridge for the girls and Tivoli Junction for the boys. This will be followed by a packed schedule of events including track relay, 4x100 meters, 4x4, mixed relay, football match featuring Paradise FC versus St. Andrew Football League, and a dance exercise session starting at 4 to encourage movement of all ages and abilities. To motivate participation and celebrate talent, monetary prizes of 500, 400, 200, and 100 per division, which male and female, will be awarded to the outstanding competitors in the races. Entertainment will be provided after the main program by the Royal Grenada Police Force. Mr. Speaker, I wish to express our sincere appreciation to the staff of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, our community sports leaders, and all the volunteers whose tireless efforts brought this initiative to life. This program is a testament to our belief that sports and recreation are not merely leisure activities, but essential tools for nation building, youth development, and social cohesion. As we move forward, similar events are planned throughout the year to ensure that no community is left behind. Our mission to build a healthier, more unified Grenada through sports and recreation. I thank you.
Thank you, very much, Honorable MP for St. Andrew Northwest.
Item number 13, personal explanations. Item number 14, motions. Sorry.
Honorable MP for St. George, you standing on item, which item?
Yeah, personal explanation 13.
Okay,
Can be motions.
item number 13.
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Speaker, I stand just to make intervention on 2 points.
Yeah.
One, Mr. Speaker, I've written already on this matter without getting a reply. I submitted several questions over a period of time that some is informed that they were answered later and some were not answered at all. And I thought it's strange because that has never happened before. So I made the point quite strongly that I expect answers to those questions. And I wrote concerning that issue and with a list of those questions that were unanswered. And up to today, I have not received any such reply or questions related, or comments related to those that my initiative. So I want to just mention this again, and Mr. Speaker, for what it's worth, especially when at this time in my political career, when I make statements, I don't make it whether it's decisions are taken and I'm given the positive reply. I make it. Okay, so expect me to continue to do this consistently whenever I do not feel that I'm being responded to accordingly based on the initiative that I take. So, Speaker, secondly, you just have to look at what's happening here this morning with the members of the opposition, the official opposition. I'm the only one here representing the official opposition. And I think it must be recalled that when we began this Parliament session, that I made the point that we needed to have serious consultation between the government and the opposition as far as the Parliament sittings are concerned, because people have their own individual business and they have their own life to live outside of being here in this Parliament. And therefore, while the government members are working permanently as ministers and therefore they have a set positions that they have to take with respect to employment and opportunities. That's not the case with members of the opposition. So it's important for us to be able to be functioning properly as members of the opposition in Parliament and during Parliament session, that there must be some consultation. And I think there were debate and discussion on it, and we proposed that the leader of government business was proposed by the government, and the Honourable Representative for St. Mark's was proposed by the opposition to make such contact so that we have. So I'm reiterating that position because it's not the best thing. It's not good for the government, it's not good for the opposition, it's not good for the Parliament, period. That a serious Parliament session, which I expect any Parliament session called, will be seen as serious because of the schedule of members prior to the Parliament session. They are unable to attend, and some might not understand it, the rationale behind it. So I want to restate that position again, Mr. Speaker, for what it's worth. The simple consultation or call back from leader of the government business to the member for St. Mark's, and let us know when such Parliament session will be called. Not necessarily having the agenda, just when it's going to be called. And so at least it's known that we should prepare ourselves accordingly for those sessions. Because the member of for St. Mark's is not even here, because she had a prior engagement. And I would assume that had she known there was a session to be organized, that she would not have given an okay to another activity and bypass the importance of the session that we're having here in Parliament. So I just want to restate that position for what it's worth. I don't want it to become an issue of a debate or confrontation. I just mean that I thought it's so basic. So I'm reaffirming that again this morning, Mr. Speaker, for what these are the two statements that I wanted to make today. Okay?
Thank you, Honorable MP for St. George Northwest. Your statements have been noted. Go ahead.
Item number 14, motions. Item number 15, bills.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the Banking Amendment Bill 2025, in accordance with Section 65 of the Standing Order, be withdrawn. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable members, the bill, I'm trying to find mine, the Banking Amendment Bill. That's the one you're drawing? Right, the Banking Amendment Bill 2025 as proposed by Leader of Government Business be withdrawn. Statement of withdrawal, he has the right to do that. Those who I need a vote of approval, although he has the right to withdraw the bill. Because it's part of the order paper. So I just take a vote of approval on this. And those who are in that opinion that the bill should be withdrawn, say aye. Of the contrary opinion, say no. The ayes have it, indeed the ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to introduce for its first reading a bill for an act shortly entitled Banking Holiday Amendment Bill 2025.
The bill which seeks to amend the schedule to the Bank Holidays Act, Cap 25, to establish the observance of Emancipation Day on the first day of August as a bank holiday in Grenada, rather than the observance of the first Monday in August as Emancipation Day, shortly entitled Bank Holidays Amendment Bill 2025.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the relevant standing order of the House be suspended to enable the bill to be taken through all the stages at this sitting.
Honorable members, the question is that the relevant standing order of the House be suspended to enable the bill to be taken through all stages at this sitting. Those of that opinion say aye. Say aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. I think the ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the second reading of the bill.
Honourable members, the question is that the bill be read a second time. Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this bill, the Bank Holidays Amendment Act of 2025, contains two clauses. Clause 1, Mr. Speaker, provides for the short title of the bill, and Clause 2 seeks to amend the schedule of the Bank Holidays Act Cap 25, the Principal Act, to establish the observance of Emancipation Day on the first day of August as a bank holiday in Grenada. Mr. Speaker, I believe that this bill, though very short, is one of the most significant bills that this NDC government will pass during its time in office, because it provides a bridge between our past as descendants of slavery and a link, Mr. Speaker, to our present times where we are as Grenadians and as Caribbean people. Mr. Speaker, emancipation of slavery, emancipation of slaves, our emancipation, Mr. Speaker, should not be taken lightly. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is important to identify a specific time in history in which this has happened. Slavery, Mr. Speaker, is a system where individuals are treated as their property that is bought and sold and forced to work against their will, often without pay or freedom. It is a form, Mr. Speaker, of forced labor and restricted of our fundamental rights and freedoms. Slavery, Mr. Speaker, comes about when one group of people sees themselves superior to another group of people and moves, Mr. Speaker, moves to take control over and exercise the selfish ambitions and motives for personal and economic benefit, while the other group, Mr. Speaker, suffers. And there are many forms of slavery, Mr. Speaker. There is child labor, conscription, economic slavery, forced marriage, bride buying and wife selling, forced prostitution, and human trafficking, just to name a few. But, Mr. Speaker, slavery as we know it happened between 300 and 400 year period, between a 300 and 400 year period. The transatlantic slave trade, Mr. Speaker, began in the 15th century after some Europeans started exploring the coast of West Africa. At first, the numbers of to grow. Slaves were uprooted, Mr. Speaker, from their families in Africa and brought to the Caribbean, brought to the American mainland, brought to South America. Traffickers, Mr. Speaker, entered the homes of families, uprooting and selling off young men and women. And Mr. Speaker, these are the reasons why emancipation is so important. Emancipation, Mr. Speaker, in my view, should never be a time when we forget about our history, but a time, Mr. Speaker, when we marry our current circumstances with our historical past and find ways, Mr. Speaker, to pull ourselves together to start making genuine advancements to unite ourselves and develop our countries. Mr. Speaker, traffickers were indiscriminate as children lost their mothers. They lost their fathers, Mr. Speaker, brothers, sisters, uncles, and aunts to slavery, leaving families shredded. That was the brutal reality of the day. Mr. Speaker, departing men and women, would-be slaves, cried out in deep agony to the only God that they knew, Jehovah. Remaining children, Mr. Speaker, they bellowed like sheep as they saw their aunts, their uncles, their mothers and fathers departing to a strange land, helplessly, Mr. Speaker. That, Mr. Speaker, emancipation in our country and in our region should never be taken lightly. And Mr. Speaker, it should not be just a date. It should be a period, Mr. Speaker, where we teach our children the importance of democracy, the importance of the freedom, the importance of our history, and the importance of building our country and making it resilient and self-sustaining, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and to those spending the very first night on a tiny island called Grenada, I could only imagine, Mr. Speaker, those who know their God will turn to Psalm 137 in their minds because there was no Bible for them to hold on to. But what they would remember, Mr. Speaker, and sing out that psalm, how can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Some died as a result of beating, diseases and sicknesses, etc. But it must have been, Mr. Speaker, in my view, it must have been the hand of God to liberate us from slavery, because we were helpless, we were in chains, we were shackled, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, imagine us shackled to our necks, shackled to our feet, shackled to our hands, going onto Massa's plantation, Mr. Speaker, in hard labor. Why aren't we teaching the essence of our freedom and democracy in our schools? Mr. Speaker, this emancipation should never be a time when we just paint ourselves black and yellow or green or whatever, Mr. Speaker, and masquerade the streets. These are times, Mr. Speaker, when we have to reflect upon the solemn nature of our democracy and what it means to be Grenadians. This is a time, Mr. Speaker, when we ought to teach our children our history. Mr. Speaker, time to reflect upon the goodness of God and how He has brought us here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a considerable number of slaves had their origins on the so-called Gold Coast or Slave Coast. Imagine that, which is now the West African nation of Ghana, and as well as other neighboring parts of the Windward Coast, Senegal, Gambia, Angola, Congo, Nigeria, Cameroon, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Zaire, Namibia. These are times, Mr. Speaker, we must reflect on where we came from and forge strong relationship with the African mainland. These are times, Mr. Speaker, when we need to reflect on how we can build those bridges, Mr. Speaker, to reconnect to our family. Mr. Speaker, why is it that if we have to travel from South Africa, we have to first land in England or America before we can land into Grenada, being much closer to any one of these nations? Why isn't there a proper connection and a proper trading route between the Caribbean and West Africa? Why is it, Mr. Speaker, when during the slave trade, the route was automatic. It was natural to travel from the western coast of Africa to the Caribbean and South America. Mr. Speaker, these are the discussions that we need to have. And this new NDC administration, Mr. Speaker, we are focusing on ways how we can connect back to our motherland, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I prepare to conclude, I want to draw our attention to some things. Back in the day, Mr. Speaker, it was common to see for sale notices that reads as follows: Negroes for sale. Negroes for sale. People like myself and my fellow colleagues here, Mr. Speaker. Negroes for sale. A cargo of very stout men and women in good order and fit for immediate service, just imported from the windward coast of Africa. Payment terms, 50% cash and 50% in goods. It was common to read, Mr. Speaker, notice of a runaway slave, $100 reward. And here description, heavy, stoutly made, dark chestnut complexion, rather sullen countenance. And you ask yourself, why sullen countenance? Why? Because that's what he knows. That's what he knows, because of the depression that he had to go through, slaving, having been uprooted, Mr. Speaker, from his home and being made to serve on some plantation somewhere in the Caribbean. We are the descendants of slaves, Mr. Speaker. But the question that I ask us today, how do we respond to emancipation? How do we respond to our freedom? What do we do? Do we teach our children the essence of emancipation? Mr. Speaker, emancipation should never be the same as carnival. Emancipation should be a time when we reflect on where we come from, how we got here, and what we need to do to remain united, strong, and resilient, and how we connect back to our mother country. So, Mr. Speaker, just in concluding the abolition of the slave trade, I just want to speak a bit on that briefly, Mr. Speaker. The abolition of the Slave Trade Act of 1807 was an act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom. It was passed on the 25th of March, 1807, with the title entitled the Act for the Abolition of Slave Trade. This act, Mr. Speaker, that act ended the trading of people. That's what it did. That's what it did. But the trading of people is still happening, but in a more subtle way. That's another talk for another day, Mr. Speaker. But it did not end slavery in itself. In other words, you could not trade anymore, but slavery on the plantation remained. It took, Mr. Speaker, in my humble opinion, the intervention of Jehovah God to actually end slavery in itself. And that's why my view is, Mr. Speaker, that we should never take our emancipation lightly, but we should reflect upon where we come from and where we go as a people. Because helpless slaves had no power to end the dark days of slavery. Representing them. They did not have a voice around the table of negotiation. So the question is, what caused rich plantation owners to leave everything behind? They had the power of their respective European governments backing them. They had the money and the power. They had a powerful voice, but we had none. People were brought to the Caribbean as slaves on ships who did not own anything here in the Caribbean. But we thank God that we are now emancipated from the dark days of slavery. And Mr. Speaker, this bill is the first and a very noticeable step to not just say Emancipation Day is the first Monday in August, which typically the Grenadians see this as a build-up to Carnival. But it should be the emancipation, should be a time in history, the first day of August, every single year. And Mr. Speaker, with this, I want to thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to speak on this bill. And I commend this bill to this honorable House for consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Leader of Government Business. Honorable MP for St. Andrew Northwest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I too rise in proud and resolute support of the Bank Holiday Bill 2025. Amendment Bill, sorry. This seeks to declare the 1st of August as a public holiday in observance of Emancipation Day, a long overdue recognition of one of the most defining moments in our history as a people. Mr. Speaker, emancipation was not merely the end of slavery. It was the beginning of our journey towards dignity, self-determination, and nationhood. It marked the breaking of chains, not just physical, but psychological and structural, imposed by our foreparents, imposed on our foreparents who toiled under inhuman conditions for generations. In declaring August 1st as a public holiday, it's not just symbolic, it's a bold affirmation that the foundation of our modern nation rests on the resilience, resistance, and strength of those who came before us. Mr. Speaker, across the Caribbean, many of our neighbors have already institutionalized Emancipation Day as a national holiday, from Jamaica to Trinidad and Tobago, from Barbados to Guyana. Regional recognition of August 1st reaffirms our shared history and strengthens our collective identity. It is a time for Grenada to take its rightful place among those who honor that legacy, not in passing ceremonies alone, but in state-sanctioned and commemoration. This is more than a day of work, Mr. Speaker. It is a day for reflection, a day for education, and for intergenerational dialogue. It's a day for cultural parade and national storytelling. And it's especially important for our young people to remind them that they are the descendants of greatness, of survivors, of builders of nations. Mr. Speaker, I would like to commend the government for taking this historic step, and I urge all members in this honorable House to lend their full support to this bill by passing it. We do not only honor our past, but we inspire our future. Let August 1st stand as a beacon, a reminder of where we came from, and a recommitment to justice, equity, and freedom for all. I wholeheartedly support Bank Holiday Amendment Bill 2025. Long live the spirit of emancipation. Long live the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable MP for St. Andrew Northwest, and I invite the MP for the constituency of St. John. Take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. I rise not simply in support of this amendment to the Bank Holidays Act, but in defense of historical truth and in protest against the quiet erosion of cultural literacy in our society. Mr. Speaker, as my colleagues that went before me would have mentioned, this bill corrects the long-standing anomaly in observing Emancipation Day on the first Monday of August by rightly relocating it to the 1st of August, the actual date that the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833 took legal effect in the British Empire, including Grenada. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not symbolic, but it is foundational in every sense. Mr. Speaker, it is important for us to also consider and note that historical accuracy is a precondition for cultural value. To misplace the observance of emancipation is to misplace the soul of our nation. It sends a message to our people, Mr. Speaker, particularly so for our youth, that history is flexible, that heritage is negotiable, and that memory is malleable. But history, Mr. Speaker, is not what we remember or what we want to remember, but it's actually what happened. So if we continue to distort the date of our ancestors' liberation for convenience, then what else are we distorting? So this amendment, Mr. Speaker, it forces us to pause and to confront the gap between the facts of our history and the way in which we commemorate it. Mr. Speaker, and perhaps maybe I would say something that can be uncomfortable, but I do not believe that many of our people fully understand what emancipation actually meant, or why, for example, the jab exists in our carnival tradition today. And yes, we hear slogans of jab in Parliament. Those people who know me in St. John, they know that's the only part of carnival that I partake in, jab. Our Prime Minister as well too is an avid jab player. And perhaps maybe some of us, Mr. Speaker, on both sides of the House have seen and heard the controversial debates over the past few weeks on the issue of time and place. Mr. Speaker, jab is not just revelry. It is a living, embodied response to slavery. It is an art form birthed out of trauma and resilience. But when people take to the streets in June and July, months before Carnival, Mr. Speaker, we have to ask ourselves, and we must ask ourselves, have we taught them what jab really means? And so the answer, Mr. Speaker, tragically is no. So this is what the cost of cultural illiteracy is. And it is fueled, Mr. Speaker, in part by our failure to teach and to institutionalize history, not just in the classroom, but in our laws, in our cultural rituals, and our public calendars. And so the link, as the first speaker, the leader of government's business, made between it, I thought it was very prudent for me to also make that contribution towards my support for this bill. Mr. Speaker, this bill has significant importance on what this means for our identity today. It will be remiss of me if I do not highlight, Mr. Speaker, that changing Emancipation Day to August 1st won't solve all of the cultural challenges that we have, but I believe firmly, Mr. Speaker, that it sends a clear signal that we will no longer compromise historical truths for bureaucratic convenience. It tells the children of Telescope, for example, and Gov, Mr. Speaker, who learns about slavery for the first time, or maybe if they really do, that they are not just, or we are not just descendants of myth, but we are the heir of a real recorded liberation. It tells the young man playing jab, Mr. Speaker, that this expression is not just for bacchanal or having a good time, but it is a living archive of our past, our culture. So, Mr. Speaker, in addition to all of that, this bill also seeks to, or has direct relation with our National Sustainable Development Agenda, or Vision 75, in terms of our culture and national identity. And it challenges us to move from performative heritage to critical heritage, where we don't just celebrate the past, but we interrogate it, we honor it, and we teach it. To be a culturally sovereign nation, Mr. Speaker, we must not only produce culture, but understand its origins and preserve its integrity. This bill is part of that work, Mr. Speaker. And so, in closing, and in supporting this amendment, Mr. Speaker, we are not just simply adjusting a date, but we are resetting a moral compass. We are teaching our children that dates do matter, that truth matters, and that freedom deserves to be remembered exactly as it happened. And I know, for example, Mr. Speaker, for many years, there have been a lot of thought leaders, whether it be the chairman of the Reparations Committee, whether it be historical scientists, Grenadian historical scientists, the likes of Dr. Wendy Grenade, for example, and others, Mr. Speaker, who have so passionately advocated in literature, in interviews, commentaries, articles, for academic purposes, for this date to be accurately recorded. So this is not just a government wanting to have a trump card, that we respect regional integration, that we want to ensure that our celebration around the Emancipation Day and what it means for us as a people is celebrated within the CARICOM region on August 1st. But there are many persons who know the history, understand the history, understands the culture. And we are happy that as an administration, we have listened to these conversations and we are actually making the right steps, taking the right steps to making this amendment. So, Mr. Speaker, I want us to leave here today knowing that we should not just let August 1st be a floating Monday of convenience, but a fixed monument to the fact, not the myth, of emancipation. And so, with these few words, Mr. Speaker, I wholeheartedly support this bill, and I urge honorable members to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MP, for the constituency of St. John. I now invite the MP for the to take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, wish everyone a good day. Mr. Speaker, I hadn't intended, because I think a lot was said and a lot of the historic background was well discussed this morning, and I want to support the bill. So I'm starting by saying that I support it. I think it's making a correction on a historic phenomena that we all accepted for many years. But I just wanted to respond to something my colleague on the other side said. While I support it and while I give immense praise to the government for it, I think we must not discount the role and the struggles that got us here today. My friend mentioned that, you know, a lot of people don't know. No, that is wrong. People know. There are those who struggled. From Marshall to Fedor to Bishop to Gary, we know. Our people know. The people in the communities know. There's a history that is well known. You see, the struggle against slavery, you know, there's this picture that you're granted slavery and you're granted independence. No, many people throughout history who fought to get us here. And there is no end to that struggle for liberation. So this act today is just another phase in that struggle. We had Emancipation Day because people fought for emancipation. It's slaves who abolished slavery. Slavery wasn't abolished by some Europeans in Europe. Slavery was abolished because of the struggles of slaves. And we have many examples in Grenada of these struggles. You know, you hear about Phil, you hear about other, and then through the years, people like Butler and other people who have struggled. So I just want to pay, as we do this, Mr. Speaker, we must pay tribute to those who have come before us. And every generation has something to do to further that. So sometimes we talk about the youth and next gen, but there are generations before us. I was, my brother Lennox in GBSS, you remember those days, struggling. And there are setbacks sometimes. I remember we struggled against jacket and tie. You remember that? Why did we struggle against jacket and tie? Because we saw it as a symbol of colonial rule. And that engulfed us for many years at the GBSS. Yes, the same time you're flipping back there, you fought against it. I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, that while, and I understand what my sister is saying, that we need to teach history, but let it not be said that those who came before us did not know. They knew. It was they who started the job. It was they who toiled in the vineyard to get us dignity, beauty, the expressions of beauty. The Black Power movement in the 1970s. There were struggles throughout. Every generation will play its part, but every generation stands on the shoulders of the previous generation. And granted, as we grow, as we knowledge is much more through social media, but do not for 1 minute discount the role of those who struggled against colonialism in Africa. I mean, we see struggles in Africa today. In the 1970s, those struggles were taking place, and that is why we have that freedom. Do not discount or undervalue those who fought. So as I support this today, and this comes on the shoulders of those who got us here. Even the idea of beauty. I mean, the sisters now, black people come with beauty now, and what is, the afro and all these things. It was a time when we couldn't have the afro. There was a measure to not have the afro, and those were the struggles of the 60s and the 70s. So, Mr. Speaker, I know I say a lot, but I felt impelled to say of the generations that came before us, my father's generation and grandfather's generation, they faced much more odds than we do in their struggles. You remember the time people will tell you about the time when the first black man got a job in a bank? And people used to come along and peep in the bank to see a black man. It's like, it's a phenomenon you didn't see before, because banking jobs. My father didn't get a promotion because he wasn't a Caucasian. Long story. The point I'm making is those who came before us fought against the odds. We have an Emancipation Day. That was as a result of a struggle. What we are now adjusting is the day in which it was celebrated. But that celebration came as a result of the struggle of slaves, peasants, workers, struggling for emancipation. So I support it, and I pay tribute to those who brought it. That's good. But let us not devalue. Sometimes I think in all the things that we do, we devalue those who came before us. They did not have social media. They did not drive cars. I remember I used to sit and we used to know when a new car came into the country, because P1, P2 to P1, it reached P, maybe 200. Mr. Markfady, we know we have 200 cars now. So what we have today, where we are today, always pay tribute to those who came before us and struggled against serious odds to get us here. So while I pay tribute to this, I pay tribute to those who came before us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable MP for the tongue of St. George. All right. Prime Minister.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, permit me to say, as I learned from my namesake, for the record and for the Hansard, I wanted to be clear that I spoke on what, to my mind, is a simple but perhaps very profound bill, to say that I support the bill. Mr. Speaker, sometimes the foundation is quite a simple thing, and I think the fact that we are here today seeking the approval and support of the honorable members of the House to support this bill is precisely because we recognize the absolute importance of paying tribute to those who came before us, lest those who come after us misappreciate or frankly don't know the significance and the importance of work and the struggle, the blood, the sweat and tears, the pain so graphically and eloquently and emotionally described this morning by the leader of government business that our ancestors went through. Mr. Speaker, I had the fortunate but unfortunate experience. Fortunate because I experienced it, and I feel privileged to experience it, but unfortunate because I wish no one, even today, see this monument, the Elmina Slave Castle on the coast of Ghana, the Gold Coast, that the leader of government business spoke of. And on TV, you see it, and they say this is the door, so you actually think it's a door. But when you get there, it's not a door. It's essentially a little hole that our ancestors were pushed through out of the castle and into the ships that would take them on this dreaded transatlantic journey. And while the statistics vary, because obviously no one was interested in paying attention to what they perceived as cargo, it is estimated that as many as 14 million Africans died crossing the transatlantic. And we're talking hundreds of years ago. So, Mr. Speaker, it is vital that we understand that in the context of the struggle of our ancestors for basic acknowledgement as a human being, and that as a state which was founded on a premise of colonization and genocide, because I want to make this clear. Before ancestors were brought to this island, and before ancestors were brought throughout the Caribbean, the European colonizers killed and destroyed the native populations they met. And having done so, in order to fuel their greed for materialism, whether it was sugar or cotton or tobacco, then proceeded to deliberately engage in an economic system that treated people from the African continent as property in the same way you treat a mule, a sheep, a goat, or a piece of timber, to build an economic system that continues to give the descendants of Europeans white European economic, military, and technological dominance that even today we as the ancestors, as the descendants of ancestors of slavery, continue to suffer from. So it is important, Mr. Speaker, that we fix the date and that the holiday has meaning, and that we make sure that all Grenadians and future generations of Grenadians do not take for granted the fact that, not just historically, but even today, there are other human beings who believe and if given the opportunity, will re-enslave other human beings based purely on how you look and where you were born. So we talk about liberty, we talk about freedom, but I want us to appreciate this. People don't speak Spanish in Africa because it originated in Africa. They don't speak French in Africa because it originated in Africa. They don't speak English in Africa because it originated in Africa. They speak it because it was imposed through military, technological might, and through a mindset that says, based on your skin color, and based on the fact that you come from the mother and the cradle of civilization, Africa, you should be enslaved. So the mark of emancipation here is to ensure that we understand the consequences of what our foreparents went through, and that we forever have a reminder that ensures that we teach the importance of making sure that we behave in a manner that continues to guarantee our own freedom as human beings. Because you could live in an independent country and be enslaved in it. There are still civilizations that create a caste system where people are locked in based on looks, tribe, location, and within that independent country, you are a slave. So when, Mr. Speaker, we fast forward to 2025 and we talk about reparations, and we talk about the need to acknowledge the historic crime of slavery and the slave trade and the embodiment of African and people of black or Afro descent, and even our own people want to dismiss it and ask what you're talking about. This notion that some of the Europeans civilized us and civilized our ancestors and gave us English and French and Portuguese. The big fight still is with our own mental enslavement. This notion that anything that comes from Africa, the developing world, the third world is somehow qualitatively less than that which comes from the developed world is still a fight that we have with ourselves. So yes, we are a long, long way from 1834 and 1838. But we have a long, long way to go for us to actually accept our own human, God-given, natural humanity. We still struggle with the notion of our natural head. We still feel someone who simply, their hair simply grows the way it grows. We don't want them to come to school. Because we still haven't come to grips with the fact that that's how we were made. And whether you're African, black, white, it has nothing to do with you. You don't make yourself. But yet still we judge people on the basis simply of the hair. I can't even call it a hairstyle. Because if you simply allow your hair to grow, as someone of African or black descent, that's your hair. And we put our children into school because for hundreds of years they've told us, even if you're a black man, you can try and look like a white man. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a profound and important event that should be marked in a profound and important way. And the education, the collaboration, the engagement by all of us is crucial to make sure that 100 years from now, 150 years from now, 200 years from now, we did our little part in furthering and deepening the self-belief and the confidence of the next generation of Grenadians that they too are human beings, should always be respected, and should always have the fundamental human right not to be owned, traded, or enslaved by a fellow human being. So I wholeheartedly support the bill, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you.
to all of us. Low on cash and in need of money right away. Play Instacash Monday to Sunday and there are no draws.
So what you saying? No numbers to choose from?
Nope.
And no draw sessions to wait on?
Nope.
And we can play it anytime and any day?
Yep, including Sundays. Instacash. Ask for it by name and choose from a wide variety of games as low as $2 and win instantly. It is fast, it is easy to play, and you win cash right away. Must be 18 years or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Well, good morning and welcome, players. It's time for the NLA's Daily Pick 3 with Multi-X mid-morning draw for today, Tuesday, the 17th of June, 2025. I'm Lexan Fletcher, your draw hostess for this morning, and I have Ms. Leah Malcolm with me. She's representing Arizona Company Limited accountants and advisors. Ms. Malcolm is here to ensure the games are conducted in a fair and accountable manner, that the game balls have not been tampered with and are within industry standards. And don't forget, with the Pick 3 game, you can bet as little as $1 on inline, mix, and pair tickets, and from $2 on backup tickets. It's time to find out what the winning numbers will be for this morning. It pays to play. Good luck. And the first ball up is, this up is 5. The second 2, and the final is 5. Here's your recap. First up was 5, the second 2, final 5. If you are a winner this morning, congratulations to you. Let's move on to Multi-X. Good luck. And the winning Multi-X ball is 7X. You heard me, 7 eggs. If you're a big winner this morning, congratulations to you. To all our winners from last evening, congrats to you all as well. We had a total of 63 winners with a total payout of $11,740. Let's see what happens next. It's Playway with Multi-X coming up next. See you then. And welcome back. It's a mid-morning draw for Playway with Multi-X for today, Tuesday, the 17th of June, 2025. With me once again, Ms. Leah Malcolm. She's representing Arizona Company Limited accountants and advisors. Don't forget, when playing the Playway game, all you got to do is bet as little as $1 up to $10 or in increments on any number or dream symbol of your choice and get to win 24 times the amount you bet. That's $24 for every dollar spent. Hope you got your tickets for this morning's Playway draw. Let's find out now what the winning number will be. Follow your dreams when your way with Playway. Good luck. And the winning Playway number is, that number is 17, and the dream symbol is mongoose. That's 1717 mongoose. If you're a winner, congratulations to you. Let's move on to Multi-X. If you placed your bets, good luck to you. Say if it's good, you do it twice, so we're doing it twice. It's 7X once again. To our big winners for this morning, congratulations to you all. We also had a total of 601 winners from last evening with a total payout of $99,648. To our big winners, congrats again. Final one is up next. We're on a roll for the X's. Let's see what happens next with Cash 4 with Multi-X. See you then. And welcome back to the final draw for this morning. It's a daily Cash 4 draw along with Multi-X for today, Tuesday, the 17th day in June, 2025. With me once again is Ms. Leah Malcolm. She's representing Arizona Company Limited accountants and advisors. With the Cash 4 game, you can bet as little as $1 on most of the bet types with the exception of backup, in which case you bet $2. Hope you placed your bets and hope you got your tickets and you're ready. Let's find out now what the winning numbers will be for this morning. It's more plays, bigger prizes. Good luck to you. And the first ball up is, first up is 4. Second 5. Third 4. And the final 1. Of course, if you have your tickets, double check them and I'll recap. First up was 4, the second 5, third 4, and the final 1. If you're a winner, congrats to you. And now it's time to move on to Multi-X. Good luck. free play. That's free play. To all our winners, congratulations to you all once again. We also had 15 winners from last evening with a total payout of $2,700. If you're a big winner this morning with the Pick 3 and the Playway draw, congratulations again. And don't forget to get your tickets for the midday round and keep supporting sports culture and nation building. Have a fantastic day.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians, from wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up several notches, but the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
By inserting after the subsection a new subsection, subsection 2, and subsection 2 reads as follows: without prejudice to subsection 1, the authority may collect fees as prescribed under any other enactment or authorization under any of the legally binding arrangement for the collection of fees by the authority. So clause 2, Mr. Speaker, deals with fees, and clause 3 speaks to the funds of the authority and amends section 39. And section 39 is basically amending the Principal Act by inserting after the word "this Act" the words or under the authority of any other enactment, to give the authority the ability to collect fees under any other legislation or enactments. Right? So, Mr. Speaker, this in summary what the bill entails. I now commit it to the House. Thanks.
Thank you. Leader of Government Business. Honorable MP for St. Andrew Southwest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, I rise to give support to this bill. And in so doing, Mr. Speaker, I want to make and to put this bill into two major contexts. The first is that, and I'm referring here to the amendment of Section 38 of the Principal Act, 2B, which gives the authority, if I may say, to use the correct word, the power or the authority to collect under any other legally binding arrangement. But on the one hand, Mr. Speaker, the GTA has a number of sites, very important sites, under its management. So, for example, you have the Granitown Lake, you have the River Antoine Lake, and so on. Good, and others. People visit those sites, and as far as I understand, in many cases, no fees are collected. So what this does is that it gives the authority, the GTA, the authority to collect fees under those jurisdictions that it's established. But secondly, Mr. Speaker, this bill has a very important intention. so that while it does not expressly refers to the fees under other jurisdictions, as is the case with the Fisheries Act, the intention of this bill is to empower the GTA to collect fees under amended fisheries legislation, or it could collect fees based on some kind of agreement with other institutions. So, for example, we have in Grenada a number of marine protected areas, and these marine protected areas came into being when, under the Fisheries Act of 1986, there was the Marine Protected Areas Regulation of 2011. And those regulations allow for the collection of fees from these marine protected areas. And I want to just say that in Grenada we have 3 legally declared marine protected areas. And I think we understand the importance and the value of what is a marine protected area. It's really to protect, marine life, conservation, and, protect our fish. And of course, it is done through controlling the use, people's use of that area. So in Grenada, we have 3 legally declared MPAs, and these are the Molineux, Bouchejou, and the Woban MPA. We have the Clarkscourt Bay MPA that was declared, I think, in 2001, and we also have the Grand Anse MPA that was declared in 2018. But just to say, Mr. Speaker, that we also have the Sandy Island or the Oyster Bed MPA, which was launched in 2010, but is yet to be legally declared. Good. Now, what has happened is that when the MPA program was in place, fees were collected. But that MPA program actually ceased to function in 2017. And since 2017, no fees have been collected. The intention of this act, Mr. Speaker, is to allow for the GTA to enter into some form of arrangement. It could be an MOU, for example, with the Ministry of Fisheries, of which I'm the minister, to allow the GTA to collect fees from these marine protected areas. Now, these fees are important because these areas have to be maintained. They have to be maintained, and you need these. You can't always maintain them strictly from government resources. If people can pay a small fee, and when I say people, I mean both locals and visitors. In some cases, Mr. Speaker, the way in which the law is set, it's only foreigners who would pay a fee, and the locals won't pay a fee. But in the case of Grenada, I think the way in which the law is set, it is for all of us to pay a fee, and which is good because we have to recognize that these areas have to be protected, not just protected, but they have to be maintained, and there's a cost involved, and they can recoup some of these costs from those user fees. And so I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, that while the bill doesn't expressly give the GTA that authority, what it means is that it allows for the GTA to now enter into some form of arrangement, some form of MOU with other jurisdictions, with, for example, under the Fisheries Act, to hold a discussion with us in the Ministry of Agriculture and come to an arrangement in which they can collect fees from our marine protected areas, which I've just mentioned. And it also, Mr. Speaker, means it's also a form of revenue as well for the GTA. The GTA, most of its subvention, it gets all this revenue, I think, from government subvention. And it will be good if we can find another source of income to support its activities, especially those tourism enhancement sites that is have the Fort Frederick, the Fort George, and the other Granitang, and so on. Good? So, Mr. Speaker, so I thought I should, put that bill into that macro context, and in this regard, Mr. Speaker, I rest my case as regards my support to this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable MP, for your contribution. Honorable members, the question is that the bill be read a second time. Those of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it.
Bill for an actually entitled Grenada Tourism Authority Amendment Bill 2025.
Leader of Government Business.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the House resolves itself into a committee of the whole House to consider this. That the House dissolves itself into a committee of the whole House to consider this bill clause by clause. Thank you.
And remember, the question is that the House resolves itself into a committee of the whole House to consider the bill clause by clause. Those of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it. This Honorable House is now in committee.
Clause 2, amendment of Section 38 of the Principal Act.
Honorable members, the question is that Clause 2 forms part of the bill. Those of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it.
Clause 3, amendment of Section 39 of the Principal Act.
Honorable members, the question is that Clause 3 forms part of the bill. Those who have that opinion say aye. Say aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it.
Clause 1, short title.
Honorable members, the question is that Clause 1 forms part of the bill. Those who have that opinion say aye. Say aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I beg to move that the House resumes and the Chairman of the committee report progress on the bill.
Honorable members, the question is that the House resumes and the Chairman of the committee reports progress on the bill. Those who have that opinion say aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it. Honorable members, this Honorable House now resumes. Honorable members, I have to report that the bill was considered by a committee of the whole House and passed without amendment. Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that the Chairman's report be adopted.
Honorable members, the question is that the Chairman's report be adopted. Those who are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the third reading of the bill.
Honourable members, the question is that the bill be read a third time. Honourable members, the question is that the bill be read a third time and passed. Those who are of that opinion say aye. Or the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it.
A bill for an act shortly entitled Grenada Tourism Authority Amendment Bill 2025.
Item number 16, request for leave to move the adjournment of the House on matters of urgent public importance.
Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that the House resume sine die. Be adjourned sine die. Sorry, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, the question is that this Honourable House be adjourned sine die. Honourable members, the question is that the House be adjourned sine die. Those of that opinion say aye. Or the contrary opinion say no. This Honourable House is now adjourned sine die.